Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Chasing Rabbits. My name is Scott Brown, and you have found my vlog dedicated to trying to help you become the leader that you always wished that you had worked for. So tonight I want to answer a couple of questions that I've gotten over the past couple of days. A couple of questions I think are pretty pertinent and make a lot of sense for why they were asked. So the first question I got was, if you're doing these videos, is it because you've started to get nervous when you speak? I think that's a really good question because a lot of people, when they speak, especially when they speak in public, super easy to get nervous. However, it's not why I'm doing this, because I can't say that I'm really nervous when I'm doing these videos. Actually, I can't say that I'm really all that nervous when I go out and speak anywhere. I just wanted more practice. But let's talk about the nervous part first. When I first started speaking, when I first joined Toastmasters, even before that, when I was working in department stores and I was doing store tours, when I was doing trainings, when I was talking to all-store meetings, when I was talking to districts and such, I always had that like sweaty feeling under my arms. My mouth would get dry. I hated it. I absolutely hated it when I first started. I heard something though years ago, and I don't remember where I heard it from, but it made a lot of sense, and I've used this philosophy ever since. Think about what happens when you get nervous to go speak. What are those things that happen? Sometimes we sweat. Sometimes we perspire on our faces. Sometimes our mouth gets dry where we can't find any liquid within our mouth whatsoever. Our breathing speeds up. We start to almost hyperventilate slightly. We get hyper-focused on what's actually happening, and in our mind, all we can picture is the worst thing that can possibly happen. That's what happens when you're nervous. That also sounds a lot like what happens when you get excited about something. When you get super excited about something, you start to perspire. Your breath quickens. Your pulse rises. You start to perspire. Your mouth gets dry. All of those things are the same things that happen whether you're nervous or whether you're excited. And wherever it was I heard this the first time, whoever was talking about this said that they had talked to a bunch of professional athletes and Olympians over the years about them getting nervous before performing on the biggest stages. And they all said the same thing. No, we don't get nervous. We get excited. We've trained our bodies to view those same physiological reactions as excitement instead of nerves. They still get the tunnel vision, but they've been able to retrain that focus to not being tunnel vision for what could go wrong, but what could go right. All of those other physiological actions in the body, they tell themselves this isn't nerves, this is excitement. So when they go on stage to speak, when they go in front of a crowd to perform, they're feeling excitement. I've used that same philosophy now for probably 5 or 6 years now. I think it really helps rephrase the opportunity that you have in terms of having a focus that you're redirecting what your body's telling you into a more productive way. I think it's incredibly helpful. The second thing I do to not get nervous when I speak is I always think about not that folks are watching me, but I think about, is there something that I can do that I can reach out and I can impact somebody's life who's sitting in the crowd. And I try to put myself, I heard Darren LaCroix say this once, that if you pretend that you're talking to one of the most important children in your life, that it's going to be the last time you ever speak to them, what is the message you want to leave them with? I don't necessarily use the youngest child in my life that I want to leave them with a message, because that's a little bit creepy and daunting that it's the last time I'll ever speak to them. A little bit weird there. But I do use that same philosophy in terms of I put myself into the place of whom in the crowd can use this message. And if I can reach just one person in the crowd, then I've done my job. Then I have made an impact on them. I think it's a lot harder to be nervous and scared when you're giving yourself to somebody else, when you're giving the best of yourself to somebody else, when you're helping somebody else. It's really hard to be nervous and afraid when you're helping somebody. So those are the two ways that I just wanted to, so that I don't get super nervous, but rather I look at it as being excited. Does that mean that I don't have nerves before I go into a stage? Absolutely not. I think it's good to have some nerves before you go on stage because it helps focus you on the task at hand. It helps bring you into the moment so that you recognize the moment that you're on stage. You recognize the moment that you're interacting with others. Very important aspect of it. So the second question kind of piggybacks off the why are you doing these videos? And the question really came up, you're doing 365 videos. Do you really think somebody wants to listen to you for 365 days? Now, first, kind of a jerky thing to say that I would say, why would you, what's the win in that? But no, I don't expect there's anybody out there that really wants to hear me for 365 days. That's absurd, and that'd be rather egotistical to think that I have such an amazing message that folks are tuning in every single night because I give them such great value and they can't wait to hear the next thing that I have to say, and they're going to do it every day for a year. Yeah, I'll have lives. If I get somebody to listen to half of these, I think that's absolutely amazing. So the goal isn't to get anybody to listen 365 days. The goal is to help me get better at doing this. Because this isn't a stage. There's no being able to walk to one side of the stage and make a point and then make another point to this group of people and another point to this group of people and another point to this group of people. I'm here in a little square, and this is a very different type of speaking from what I ever practiced doing. I was never trained to do this sort of speaking on camera to a crowd that I can't see and I don't know if I'm resonating with when I'm speaking. The reason I'm doing this is for practice. And I had a conversation with Darren LaCroix about this right after I started this, and I said, if you can't create stage time with an audience, then I think it's up to us to create our own stage time to practice our craft and get better. Because at some point, all of this is going to end, and I want to be a better speaker, I want to be a better presenter, I want to be a better leader when I walked out of quarantine than what I did when I walked into quarantine. So that's why I'm doing this. No, it's not because I think that I'm so amazing that everyone's going to want to listen to me. But yes, I do think that it is because I can get something out of this process, and hopefully while I'm getting something out of it, I'm giving something to all of you that's of value. So I think those are two pretty good messages, two questions that I've gotten over the past couple of days. I hope those maybe help a little bit in perspective to how you can maybe do something during all this time when we're physically separated so that we might be socially distanced, but we don't have to be socially distant. And those are two separate things. Until tomorrow, thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night. Stay warm. It is a balmy 8 degrees here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Again, not in the brochure whatsoever, but it is what it is. I hope you have better weather wherever you are. Stay warm, stay safe, toast on, and I will see you tomorrow for another edition of Chasing Rabbits. Have a good night, my friends.